Hey guys, this is the Monster from Hell, and I'm here to give you what is going to be the first of a series of videos collecting my thoughts on certain things, whether it be movies, popular culture, what have you. And for the first thing I actually want to talk about, this is something I wanted to talk about for a while, is the newest 2010 remake of Clash of the Titans. Now, the original Clash of the Titans was one of my favorite childhood movies, as with a lot of other people. It was the very last movie to have of such amazing special effects by the master of stop motion photography, Ray Harryhausen. It was a bona fide, classic, charming adventure movie, complete with like epic music and really cool, well choreographed fight scenes with extremely well detailed and animated stop motion creatures like Medusas, giant scorpions, Pegasus is some big goblin looking dude named Calabas, and of course the Kraken itself. Now, fast forward to today, the main point I'm actually looking to talk about. If there was a friend of mine who could actually who gave me the choice of picking whatever movies represent everything I hate about the movie industry today, then I would look no further than Clash of the Titans. He would of course ask me, "Are you sure?" And I would say, "Yeah, I'm sure. That will do very nicely." This movie is horrible, and I'm fixing to go into great detail as to why it sucks so bad. Now I'm not going to get Now I'm not going to let my nostalgia and love for the original movie get in the way and let me be prejudiced towards this movie, because is honestly the original Clash of the Titans, about while I watch it today with all the critical thinking and the sort of movie critic complex that I have now that I watch movies, I look at it today and it's really not that good of a movie. It doesn't have that good of a script. It's not very well acted. The characters aren't really all that well developed. But like the music and like the whole atmosphere of the movie, as well as the special effects, are what make it so timeless and so memorable. And you can understand with the modern movie making technology that we have today and the new capabilities of making even better stories with scripts and the even new talented script writers that we have this generation, a remake of Clash of the Titans could be astronomically great and epic and shit, even Oscar worthy. I mean, look at what Peter Jackson did with King Kong. He took a movie which was really old, which was a masterpiece for the time that it came out, but it was still a little bit dated. But he took a movie which was a classic and he reinvigorated it for modern day audiences, and he made an amazing, epic adventure tale complete with all kinds of adoring affection for the original movie, as well as some great acting performances and some truly stellar special effects. Not to mention a really nice little romantic relationship between Naomi Watts and the giant CG gorilla version of Kong. But this movie missed every single opportunity it had to be good and great. And I feel like it's a crime to even compare this to Peter Jackson's masterpiece remake of King Kong. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's get into this movie. Now, the movie basically has the same premise and storyline as the original movie. The main character, Perseus, is on a quest to save Princess Andromeda from being offered to the Kraken by finding the head of Medusa so that he can destroy the Kraken and whatever. But the thing about this movie is that the story is so poorly paced that it jumps from scene to scene without even establishing what is actually going on in the story. I was confused as hell. For example, there's one scene in which the main character not Calabas, but Perseus, he's training with this new sword he got, and then all of a sudden, it goes into a fight scene with the Calabas character, who all of a sudden we see him rip some dude in half. Then we see a fight scene with Calabas, and then all of a sudden it frantically jumps to a fight scene with them fighting these gigantic scorpions, in which in what is one of the most laughable fight scenes I've ever seen. And this whole fight scene is basically like a video game. Only thing that's really missing is a fucking controller. Because as this fight scene doesn't really seem choreographed. It just seems like it's so basic and it's so woodenly choreographed that it makes most fight scenes in most overhyped cartoons like Dragon Ball Z look like pure raw unbridled Hong Kong action mastery or some fuck. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Yeah, but anyways, is the storyline, and it moves along way too fast for me to keep up and even try to understand what's going on. They introduce so many characters whose motivations, we don't know their backstories, we don't know where they came from. They just introduce them as eye candy. We have Perseus being followed around by some hot chick who is somehow all really super powerful. Oh, and she can jump around and she can like slice the tails off of these giant scorpions, and all of a sudden she's trying to jump Perseus's bones. She's trying to be like the main love interest. We don't know anything about her. We don't know where she comes from. Then all of a sudden we meet all these other characters. Like we meet this guy who looks like this big, like elemental crab guy. He's got like this stone face and all these other things on him. I don't know. I've given up trying to explain this movie. It confuses the hell out of me. And on top of that, at the and whatever scenes it actually rehashes from the original movie, it just very sloppily goes through the motions of actually remaking these scenes, such as the scenes with the Stygian witches, which is almost trying to come off as like a big pseudo fight scene, and then all of a sudden, and there's the scene with the Medusa, and oh boy, is that bad. The original movies, the fight with the Medusa is very suspenseful and very timid and very intense. It had you on the edge of your seat. And the way Perseus he kills the Medusa in that movie is actually a genius, because he actually thinks and strategizes. But in this movie, everybody's running around and everything's breaking and people are just shooting arrows and shit, and all this shit is exploding. Like I said, this movie tries to be like a video game. I actually think that this movie takes more inspiration from the God of War games than it does from the original Clash of the Titans. And I can definitely see that. It's trying to be all dark and gritty and really over-violent. And then the main character is so over-aggressive, and he has a personal vendetta against the gods. And then all the other characters are trying to make him good. And hell, even the scene where I mentioned where that Calabas dude rips a dude in half with his bare hands is very reminiscent of something Kratos would do from the games. I don't know. This movie is absolutely terrible, and if you think I'm just over exaggerating, watch the movie for yourself. If you enjoy it, hey, that's your problem. But if you actually know a good bit about movies like I do, and if you watch this movie, you will be sorely disappointed. This movie had the ability to be so much better than it actually was, and it just wasn't.